well known that diseases like diabetes, high blood pressure, and other illnesses may restrict blood flow, which can lead to impotence and erectile dysfunction. This is why Enhance was formulated to meet these challenging health problems, which can reduce your ability to perform. If you're having problems maintaining your manhood, then reclaim your manhood today with Enhance. Enhance increases your energy level, boosts your stamina, and increases your endurance.
You can get your Enhance at Southwell VA4, Restorer Pharmacy Soufre, Knights Med Miku, Lay By Bar The Morn, Dexter's Place Jeremy Street Castries, Citygate Bar The City opposite the market, Plants Place Denry Highway, Arlette Supermarket Soufre, The Release Stress Bar Labrie Highway, Cool Joint Bar Victoria Schwazel, Prios Bus Stop 22, next to the Moshi Bus Stop opposite the Grosley Bus Stop, Prios Bar and Grill in Corinth, Grosley.
Enhance, the best a man can get.
McDowell Supplements, an effective way to ensure you and your loved ones are getting the daily recommended intake of essential vitamins, minerals, and other important nutrients necessary for optimal health. Naturally, we carry an array of health and wellness supplements. McDowell's Immune Booster enhances your body's defense to fight colds and flu, boosts your immune system, prevents viruses and other airborne diseases. McDowell's Colon Cleanser prevents constipation, helps in removing toxins from the colon, detoxifies the body, and regulates your bowel movements. McDowell's Prostate Health prevent the enlargement of the prostate, improve urinary flow, and reduce frequent urination, especially at night. Moringa oleifera capsules are rich in minerals like calcium, potassium, zinc, magnesium, iron, and copper, vitamins like beta-carotene, vitamin A, vitamin B such as folic acid, vitamin C, D, and E. McDowell's Potassium Complex, used for treating and preventing low potassium levels, high blood pressure, preventing stroke, and aid in weight loss. McDowell's Triple Magnesium relaxes the muscles, relieves cramps and helps to control high blood pressure, improves sleep, and can calm the nerves. Magnesium is very important for the normal functioning of cells, nerves, muscles, bones, and the heart. McDowell's Ginger Turmeric helps to relieve pain, decrease nausea and enhance the immune function to help protect against illness and infection. Ginger turmeric has powerful anti-inflammatory properties and improves your circulation. Don't hold health back. Let health strike back. McDowell's, the better way to start your health. Visit Health Service Center, John Compton Highway, call 453-6417. Let your wellness be our stress.
What is the vision for the Vendors Arcade? To provide a world-class shopping environment where local goods and services can be provided and experienced by locals and visitors. Why is this redevelopment necessary? The renovations and expansions will revitalize the infrastructure and enhance the shopping experience for vendors, locals, and visitors. Who will be responsible for the Vendors Arcade? The arcade will continue to be operated and managed by the Castries Constituency Council, who will have full responsibility for the rental and maintenance of the space. How will construction of the Vendors Arcade be managed? A phased approach will be employed to minimize disruption to daily operations. After the completion of each phase, vendors will be relocated from the former arcade, and this will continue until completion of the new facility. St. Lucia Cruise Port, investing in people.
The voice. Your hero is back. Raw facts, no fluffs. Shelton Daniel is here to deal with the issues. Real issues. 12:30 p.m. to 2 p.m. Monday to Friday on Real FM.
Another wonderful Monday afternoon to you, everyone, at the start of another week. Thank you so much and welcome once again to The Real Issues with me, Shelton Daniel, alongside my co-host, Miguel Ivrin Favrier. Thank you so very much for being here. Welcome. And before I forget, because once I start talking, I remember only what I'm talking about and I forget everything else. Let me tell you that very early this morning, a lady called Cornelia Jacob was sure to ask me, to extend birthday greetings to him, please. And she sent a picture, I wonder why I forgot to send that to Jaquan. But it was a busy morning for me. Mornings usually are. Making sure I catch up with the news. But, I wish you many more.
Thank you very much.
The very best wishes, Miguel. And I know you have no shortage of people wishing you the same.
Oh, Lord. I need to actually just say thank you to everyone who's extended birthday wishes and greetings. Cornelia, thank you very much. Who've called. There's some surprise calls this morning and this afternoon. So thank you very much to those who've extended their best wishes.
All right. Our program, as you know, is weekdays from 12:30 until 2 p.m. on the radio station, Real FM, serving you on the frequencies of 91.3 for the north, 91.5 for the south, simulcasting on NBC Television, channel 120 on the Flow Cable TV service. We are also on Facebook Live and on YouTube live streaming as well. It is the 14th day of the month of July 2025, and we are inching towards, so many things, towards carnival, towards emancipation. We are moving forward. Let me just talk about, the most recent things that have happened. The Calypso finals. I'm not the best person who can talk to you about Calypso and judging and this and the results and whether Educator should have won or whether T.C. Brown should have been first and so on. At the end of the day, Desirel has in a very short time worked himself out to be quite the professional in terms of his execution. Quite the expert, quite the specialist. And let's not forget that the guy is blessed when it comes to Calypso, blessed by what we might say pedigree. I mean, that is the son of not just a great but a legendary local Calypsonian. Aloysius, Dr. Desmond Long.
Desmond Aloysius.
It was Aloysius Brett and so on. But the mighty Pep, who we know has won the Calypso crown in St. Lucia, and there's been no dispute about it, in terms of how much he deserved winning it. The mighty Pep, that is his son. So, for his son to be winning it and defending the crown, which is not something that is very easily done, when you have the crown for you to come back the next year. A few have done it, and that is what makes them so special.
His father among those who have done it.
Exactly. Now, folks, let me say something about Calypso from the little that I know. Calypso crowns are won on the night. That is where they won, on the night of the competition. It don't matter how well a person did in the semi-finals, in the quarterfinals. It don't matter how popular their song is. That is what everybody's talking about, and everybody expected them to win. At the end of the day, it is how they execute, how they perform, how they come out in the various judging criteria. That is what the judges are looking at the time. Whether you're stage props, whether you're this, whether you're that, and so on. That is what the judges are looking at. So no matter what we feel about it, it is the execution on the night that determines whether a person captures the crown or what their placement is. And I think this is what happened in this case, Miguel.
I believe so. I believe it is a matter of execution. However, Shelton, I have been listening. I can't say much involved in the debate, but I've been listening even to the point of my father, and they've all had this. The criticism has been consistent in terms of the judges selected and they not the criteria. Sorry, they themselves what level of qualification or aptitude they may have to actually judge Calypso. So Shelton. To be honest with you, I sing Calypso, I've participated, but I don't think I'm in a position to determine who gets to judge and who doesn't. But then there are people who may have that experience, who may know what the criteria calls for and everything.
Is there some transparency in terms of when they are appointed? Who appoints them and on what basis they appoint them?
I'm not quite sure. I know there's always an announcement.
To be a Calypso judge sounds like being selected for jury duty.
Yeah. I think it's something similar to that to that extent, because I will not mention the individual's name if he doesn't want me to, or I'm not sure if he wants me to. But it was only last week when the news of Reddy's pulling out of the finals came out. Someone actually called me, and I was in this person's presence, and I asked him about Reddy, and he said, well, he's hearing just like everyone. And then I proceeded to ask him, what is the criteria for becoming a judge? And someone interjected right away and said, attend a workshop. So I'm not quite sure what it is. I know there are judges over the years, including those now who have had musical backgrounds. But from my perspective, from my vantage point, I cannot tell or say whether they are qualified enough to judge. But like you just said, it's one on the night, which is, I was one of those kind of critical of when I heard of Reddy's departure, because I'm saying that at the end of the day, you win it on the night, just like any election, it's one on the day. But even then, it's based on how you perform. And she had
already booked her passage, eh?
Yeah, she had already booked her passage. Right. Now, on that point, I do hear people who have been Calypso lovers and followers over the years believe that people like Educator should have placed higher. And from their observation, again, I did not even watch the finals. I did not attend. I did not watch this year, unfortunately.
You must have seen the clip of Educator going to collect his...
Oh, yes.
And the shrug. Well,
there's a shrug.
That's what you're saying.
Yeah. So maybe that was a reaction. I'm not sure. I wasn't there. So maybe there may have been people at the front of the crowd, saying that he should have placed higher or whatever, and maybe he reacted to that. You never know. But again, it is judged and won on the day. But maybe that is a point, as with everything else, for the organizers of the Calypso to take into account what they're hearing on the ground, and maybe they should revisit whatever the process is that may be causing the public some sort of angst.
All right. Okay, Miguel. The only thing I've ever judged, I think, is a karaoke competition, and sometimes you disappoint people because their favorite singer, who they believe does a good job of it, is the person who doesn't execute very well.
I thought you said you couldn't sing, so how can you be judging a karaoke competition?
Sing, that's what I'm talking about. As I'm not cool, I mean, come on. I'm not hot in calypso and those kind of thing. I cannot sing. That's where you ever hear that. But Miguel, I just want to use. By the way, we talk about jury duty. I've never been called for jury duty. I used to hear a lot of people complaining about they being called for jury duty, and
well, I'm an ex-convict, so they'll never call me.
It's inconvenient for them, and I've heard judges, warn people when they're called for jury duty and they fail to show up, that this is a responsibility they must take. Well, they've never. If it is an inconvenience, they've never bothered me. If it is a reward that there is to it, I don't know if they pay jurors what they pay them, how much. I've never gotten any little thing in my hand for it. But we are saying that Calypso is won on the night. Miguel, I think we can say the same thing for elections. Whether general or by-elections, they are won on the day.
It is. And there are many people who make up their mind on the very day
exactly.
as to where they'll vote.
Elections depend upon who turns out to vote, who's eligible to vote, who shows up to vote, who actually votes, and what choice they make, which, as you say, they might make up their mind. So elections are always, it's possible for there to be surprises in them. We might feel somebody was popular, and that person was the choice going forward. But did the people who supported that person, did they go out to vote? And especially for young people, it's something that I have noticed and I have warned against quietly, especially in Antigua when I was called upon to make some contributions in behind the scenes discussions about when they had the referendum as to whether Antigua would leave the Privy Council and go to the CCJ and so on. And there was some people who were pushing that the people we really should target are the young people, go after the young people. Like basically worrying about the older people and so on. I said, no, make sure you encourage all demographics.
Yes.
And the old people in particular, because they are more reliable. Because this is something I've observed about young people. Being a father of several young people of voting age. Young people are the type who will not discipline themselves to go to bed early, the night before, so they can wake up early to go and vote.
What happens?
They will feel that, look, it doesn't matter. They'll stay on their social media. They'll stay on their WhatsApp, on their Facebook, on their Instagram, on their TikTok, you name it. They will be there, and they will go into the wee hours of the morning if whatever is there is interesting and exciting. Then they will sleep to their heart's content. Young people being who they are. If you wake them up early in the morning, they will be irritable. They will be grumpy. They might slip back under the cover, and you might not or they will get up to go. When they
eventually get the lines too long,
they see a long line, they don't have the patience for it. Especially if the place is a place that don't have Wi-Fi or they're not getting Wi-Fi. So while they're waiting on the line, they can ease their boredom, by being on their phone, texting and doing. If that is not there and it's not, that's why I say in the future, people who want to enable and to facilitate and encourage their supporters to go and vote, have some kind of van that has, or how you call it? Yeah, Wi-Fi. On it and so on or whatever, so that the young people can, the wire supporters, them and so on, so that they can stay on that line. Because if not, they're going to move. Now they will move with the intention of coming back later. Later will never come. They will go home. They will doze off.
Get distracted.
Not distracted. They're tired already from the previous night. They haul themselves, or maybe your agents, and say, Miguel, you're not going to vote. They go, but they go with the intention, okay, I'll come back when it's about 4, 2 hours to go. And then they will do that and they'll never come out. Yeah. Elections are won on the day. A lot of us, we have this kind of a gung-ho kind of thing about us. Oh, we know, there's no way we can lose and so on. Yes, we can. It's on the day that things happen. So I just wanted to mention that. But now that I've ventured into the area of politics, Miguel, I believe you will join me in wishing 2 people on the weekend who did get the confirmation that they have received the nod, at least from the governing St. Lucia Labour Party, that they will be its candidates, or the party's choice of candidates to contest the next general elections in their respective constituencies. Now, I say the next general elections. We don't know if it might not end up being a by-election. For example, in Vieux-Fort South, we know Dr. Kenny Anthony has announced he will not be standing again for re-election. What if he decides before that for whatever reason, that he's stepping down and resigning, that would precipitate a by-election? The same thing can happen in Castries South East. Joakim Henry can decide, okay, my initial intention was to go until the next election, but I decide, for whatever reason, my health or whatever. But that notwithstanding, these are hypotheticals now, these are possibilities and so on. Let me congratulate first Mr. Danny Butcher being chosen
congratulations to Danny.
As being the person who has been chosen to fill some rather big shoes.
Very.
Yes.
Very, very.
Yes.
Very.
To be the next
27, almost 30 years.
That's right. Dr. Kenny Anthony to replace him as the SLP's candidate, for Vieux-Fort South, and Senator Miss Lisa Jawahi for being the pick.
Congratulations.
More recently, to be the SLP's contender for Castries South East to replace the incumbent Mr. Joakim Henry. Any thoughts on you?
Yeah, as I do that, let me join you again in congratulating both Senator Lisa Jawahi and Mr. Danny Butcher on getting the nod to represent the Labour Party at the upcoming general elections. I also want to take this opportunity, and I did it about almost a year ago, maybe 6 months plus ago. On my social media, I thanked Dr. Anthony. I said, Dr. Anthony, we appreciate you. And I think that in itself should encapsulate all that Dr. Anthony himself has done over the past near 30 years. In fact, we can say 30 plus years in politics, because he did serve as a Minister for Education during the
prior to that, yes,
Labour administration. And he's always been a man whom I've admired, but there's also a certain mystery about him, because he's sometimes very guarded, when he speaks to you, but he's a gentleman in the house. When he opens his mouth to speak, you can't help but just hang on his every word. As a newsman, I used to hate it, because there's so many pauses between his lines, and he wants to get a 30-second clip. But he speaks very profoundly, and having interacted with him and spending time around him, I can truly say that this man has been underappreciated in certain quarters, particularly within the levels of the opposition and the general public outside of the Labour Party supporters who actually do know Dr. Anthony.
All right. And to think that I'm so happy that you, myself included, and others made sure to express our appreciation, our admiration for him and so on, our respect, because considering what happened to him recently, he hit from behind while driving by a huge vehicle. I think it was a concrete truck or something like that, construction equipment truck. Anything could have happened there and so on. And then Dr. Anthony could have been gone from us, and then so much that we wished we had expressed and said to him and so on, expressed about him, said to him and so on, would probably have been left hanging and unsaid, at least when he was alive. We are happy he's still with us, but that is why we must, as they say, give people their kudos and their flowers while they're still with us.
And his contribution to St. Lucia, particularly in the development, our socio-economic development, cannot be understated, because we do see now the conversion of secondary schools into specialized schools. And that started under the first phase of universal secondary education, through zoning, making it easier and cheaper for parents to transport their children to school, because they'll be attending secondary schools for the most part within their own zone. The school transport subsidy program, the school feeding program, all these things, the STEP program. As much as people will say whatever they want to about STEP, but the reality is that we have people within our society, and that is the only lifeblood that they may have. And considering their level of education, I wouldn't say economic background, because no matter what economic background you come from, you should be able to, you can achieve the opportunities out there. But then there are people, this is all that they can do. And these people have been able to send their children to school, feed their children during the summertime, even give their children a little, something that can be considered a bit of a luxury based on their whole economic situation. And so many other things. We have to applaud Dr. Anthony for that. His vision for me, his vision for the administrative building in VA4 is one that should be recognized as that revolutionary, but should have happened years ago, because we've seen the sufferation, as the grassroots Rastafarians like to put it, of the people who live in the South, the elderly people who've had to come to an adjudicator's office, wake up at 2:00 in the morning, try to get a bus, and most times come and not get what they wanted, and serving that part of the country. And we should never undermine or discount his contribution. Now, for Senator Joakim Henry, another man who I have great deal of respect for. Sorry, he was a senator. I wanted to speak. My mind was in two places. He was a senator. His other stint.
Yes, I understand. I know what you're talking about, man. I'm just wondering how you could forget the Minister for Empowerment.
And this is another man whom I have had a great deal of respect for professionally, in that he was placed in the right ministry, understanding the plight of the underprivileged, the indigent, having worked at the SSDF, and the numerous things and initiatives that he has overseen and he has undertaken. And even when we speak, prior to him coming into government, and that is one thing I did as a news person. I mean, I was always kept contact with both opposition. There were people in the opposition whom I spoke to on a regular, and people in the government, both sides, right? At that time, they were in opposition. I would speak regularly, and he'd tell me a lot of the statements that he'd made were about how it would impact, his considerations for how it would impact the indigent. And he'd had many plans and policy ideas where that was concerned. So I'd like to thank him for his service. So far, it's not ended as yet, but thank him for his service in that capacity as Minister for Equity. And even in that capacity, we saw a lot of PR and communication coming out of the Ministry of Equity, highlighting a lot of the initiatives and policy decisions that have been made on behalf of those who can't afford. So thank you, Senator Joakim Henry, and Honorable Joakim Henry, and also his voice note, which came out admonishing people over the weekend, those who will be supporting him, although I think this may be contrived by Guy Joseph and the opposition. But the opposition, yes, but I'd like to even give special kudos to him. After hearing that voice note, my level of respect, as much as it was there, has grown, because with his own conviction, told his supporters, those who decided they wanted to have a protest,
no Joakim, no vote.
No Joakim, no vote.
Yes.
This is not the way. If you're supporting me, you're going to support this administration and the policies that our policy
because
direction.
I am still a member and supporter of the Labour Party, and I will let's first read before the break the written statement that he put out. And it says, it's dated 11th July, that would have been Friday. Following the announcement by the St. Lucia Labour Party that I have not been selected as the candidate to contest the upcoming general elections for Castries South East, I wish to offer a few words of gratitude, reflection, and encouragement. After deep reflection and with a heart full of gratitude, I accept this moment with humility and grace. I extend my sincerest thanks to those individuals of the Castries South East constituency group who recommended that I continue to serve. Your unwavering confidence and belief in me has been a source of strength, and I am proud of all that we have accomplished together. Serving as the parliamentary representative for Castries Southeast has been one of the greatest honors of my life. I have stood with you in moments of progress and perseverance, listening to your concerns, working on your behalf, and doing all within my power to uplift our communities. The relationships forged and the growth we've seen together will remain close to my heart. I am aware of the expressions of disappointment from some supporters, including the use of slogans such as "No Joakim, no vote." I unreservedly discourage any form of demonstration opposing the party's decision. However, I do understand and appreciate the emotions that have surfaced. I know these sentiments come from a place of love, loyalty, and shared struggle. In this spirit, I kindly encourage all constituents to return to normalcy, to continue supporting me in the balance of my tenure, and, most importantly, to lend your full support to the St. Lucia Labour Party in the upcoming general elections. Under no circumstances must we offer any comfort to the United Workers' Party. To the Prime Minister and the government of St. Lucia, I offer my deepest thanks for the continued support and collaboration which have allowed key projects and interventions to take root in our constituency. Though there is more I had hoped to achieve, I remain confident that the Labour Party government will carry forward the vision for a stronger, more inclusive Castries Southeast. As I take this next step in life's journey, I do so with peace, pride, and immense gratitude. My love for the people of Castries Southeast remains unchanged. I will continue to serve you with integrity and care until the end of my term and remain committed to public service in whatever form the future allows. Honorable Joakim Henry, Minister for Equity, Social Justice and Empowerment, Parliamentary Representative for Castries Southeast. Miguel, a more magnanimous statement, one that is more big-hearted, big-minded, I don't think you could find than this one. And it hits exactly at it, that emotions will be volatile. People will feel hurt that their favorite person has not been selected to continue, and you're going to have this kind of thing. And there is nobody better placed to quiet that down and to soothe it and to make people don't go off on that thing about they were planning a protest on Sunday than the man who did so via this press release.
Yeah.
Your thoughts?
Yeah, I quite agree. I saw the press release, and for one thing though, I would have expected, whether it be, and let's be real, whether it be genuine, maybe out of a place of disappointment or anything, I would have expected the candidate, the incumbent, after news like that being breaking, especially with all eyes on, that's one of the constituency all eyes on. I'd expect a statement like that from the candidate. And kudos to him for putting out an immediate statement to quell whatever propaganda that has been percolating. And I need to say it again, Shelton. We need to remember who was the propagator of all this. It was Guy Joseph who on platform started this whole talk about some Lisa in Castries Southeast going around bad talking Joakim. It was Guy Joseph, and we've said before, who knows better how to throw the cat among the pigeons, especially the stupid pigeons, the doodle head, the cuckoo ones, than Guy Joseph, because he would just say one thing and people would run with it. And there are many people who believe that he may know what he is talking about. So we need to be careful that everything that's happening right now, and even the people who are within the whole ambits of the protests, many of them and those pushing and encouraging, are not those who have the interest of the United Workers' Party at heart. I mean, there's one who particular, she goes around, she never spares an opportunity to lambaste this administration, but she goes around saying she voted for Kenson and this and that kind of thing. and everything. But then even with this whole Lisa and Joakim, she's among those joining as if she's some hardcore labor supporter or anything.
Yeah, they always do that to try to sanitize themselves.
Yeah, so we have to be careful.
To disguise their true identity and their true purpose.
We have to be careful.
Yes.
I have to shout Alison Fade for always calling her out on her nonsense.
Yes. Let's play the voice clip.
My friend, don't tell me relax. I'm telling you, the wrong set of people are joining this. This is not Castries Southeast labor activity. This thing is becoming, that is going to embarrass me. It's going to embarrass y'all. That is not what we want in Castries Southeast. We have a problem. That's not going to fix that. That is not good. I do not want that. I do not want that spectacle. That is not. I am not against the party of the Solution Labour Party. I am not helping any UWP to win any election. This is what this will turn into. People, take my advice and stop this. I will. If it's not been stopped, I will publicly state that I'm disassociating with this. This is not good, people. This is not good. Take my foolish advice and stop it.
Big up to the man, Joakim Henry.
Yep.
Big up to him.
You had the fire.
There was no wobbling. There was no vacillating. There was no period given to feel sorry for himself and self-pity and to wallow in whatever,
Not even saying something like, I know that's not what you want to try to. No.
Definitely. I don't want to go down that road. I'm not with it. I'm not supporting it whatsoever. We have to close ranks as laborites together and so on. Not in exactly those words, but that was his stand. It was definite. It was decisive. It was consistent. It was pronounced. And what he said there totally complemented what he had said in the written statement and so on. Right. Real Issues powered by Blue Waters with me, Shelton Daniel, alongside Miguel Evelyn Favre, our technical operator, Alton Jaquan Joseph. Let's take our first commercial break and we'll be right back.
The man, the voice. Your hero is back. Raw facts, no fluff. Shelton Daniel is here to deal with the issues. Real Issues, 12:30 p.m. to 2 p.m. Monday to Friday on Real FM.
It is well known that diseases like diabetes, high blood pressure, and other illnesses may restrict blood flow, which can lead to impotence and erectile dysfunction. This is why Enhance was formulated to meet these challenging health problems, which can reduce your ability to perform. If you're having problems maintaining your manhood, then reclaim your manhood today with Enhance. Enhance increases your energy level, boosts your stamina, and increases your endurance.
You can get your Enhance at Southwell VA4, Restorer Pharmacy Soufre, Knights Med Miku, Lay by Bar The Morn, Dexter's Place Jeremy Street Castries, Citygate Bar The City opposite the market, Plants Place Denry Highway, Arlette Supermarket Soufre, The Release Stress Bar Labrie Highway, Cool Joint Bar Victoria Schwazel, Prios Bus Stop 22, next to the Moshi Bus Stop opposite the Grosile Bus Stop. Prios Bar and Grill in Corinth, Grosile.
Enhance, the best a man can get.
McDowell Supplements, an effective way to ensure you and your loved ones are getting the daily recommended intake of essential vitamins, minerals, and other important nutrients necessary for optimal health. Naturally, we carry an array of health and wellness supplements. McDowell's Immune Booster enhances your body's defense to fight colds and flu, boosts your immune system, prevents viruses and other airborne diseases. McDowell's Colon Cleanser prevents constipation, helps in removing toxins from the colon, detoxifies the body, and regulates your bowel movements. McDowell's Prostate Health prevent the enlargement of the prostate, improve urinary flow, and reduce frequent urination, especially at night. Moringa oleifera capsules are rich in minerals like calcium, potassium, zinc, magnesium, iron, and copper, vitamins like beta-carotene of vitamin A, vitamin B such as folic acid, vitamin C, D, and E. McDowell's Potassium Complex, used for treating and preventing low potassium levels, high blood pressure, preventing stroke, and aid in weight loss. McDowell's Triple Magnesium relaxes the muscles, relieves cramps and helps to control high blood pressure, improves sleep, and can calm the nerves. Magnesium is very important for the normal functioning of cells, nerves, muscles, bones, and the heart. McDowell's Ginger Turmeric helps to relieve pain, decrease nausea and enhance the immune function to help protect against illness and infection. Ginger turmeric has powerful anti-inflammatory properties and improves your circulation. Don't hold health back. Let health strike back. McDowell's, the better way to start your health. Visit Health Service Center, John Compton Highway, call 453-6417. Let your wellness be our stress.
The man, the voice. Your hero is back. Raw facts, no fluff. Shelton Daniel is here to deal with the issues. Real issues, 12:30 p.m. to 2 p.m. Monday to Friday on Real FM.
Once again, everyone, for tuning in to The Real Issues with me, Shelton Daniel. On this Monday, the 14th of July, 2025, I'm accompanied as my co-host for today, Miguel Ivrin Fevrier. Let me remember and to greet my more regular co-host, Terence Fenelon, who was unable to make it today. He wasn't feeling too well last week. He recovered, but like I told you, his vehicle, out of sympathy for its owner, also took ill, and so he has recovered, but the vehicle, I think he still has to be shopping around for some automobile or Jeep Panadols for it and so on. It doesn't look like he's been able to find, the vehicle pharmacy where he can get whatever bandages or pills that he needs for it. So Terry, I'm happy to know that you're sprung back to being on your feet. I don't know how you're going to do about those vehicle painkillers and so on, but I have confidence.
Back on my feet again.
Yeah, that you're back on your feet, that the vehicle will be back on its wheels again or whatever it is, okay?
Well, let me just say, Terry did ask me this early this morning if I could fill in for him this afternoon. And on that note, Shelton, let me just deviate as you've opened the floor for that on Terry's situation. Our new car dealers, they're really taking the piss, Shelton.
You what?
They're taking the piss. With the cost of the parts, I think Peter and Company generally they're generally reasonable, but our new car dealers,
they bring in the
cost of genuine parts,
but they don't bring in the parts and so on.
They don't bring in the parts, or they bring in the parts and they're at exorbitant prices.
So whatever the cheap deal that you think you're getting on the used vehicle, they're taking it back on the parts and so on.
There you go.
I heard that. You have to be very careful nowadays, because remember there was a situation at the Castries City Council many years ago that they got some trucks, some garbage trucks. Very good deal, But
to get parts,
when they break down to get the parts for them, is either the parts are not available, or to get them you have to jump through so many hoops, and they cost all arms and all legs that you have and so on.
I don't understand why they do not stock, and there are particular vehicles where there are issues that are recurring, they're common, they do not stock the parts. And you're left to buy non-genuine parts here because they're obviously cheaper, but there is no way I will believe that the price that you are paying for those parts is the price that the actual retail price is actually the retail price that you would pay following all costs taken into consideration.
Well, that appears to be a ruse that is being worked even with what you consider reputable multinational companies. You ever try to go and buy a multifunction printer, photocopier, that kind of thing? I mean, it's that cheap you can get it.
Yeah.
But it's when to go and buy the ink and the toner and those things. You realize, and the genuine one that they tell you, genuine cartridges, you realize where the fellas are really making their money, I mean, it is absolutely through the roof and beyond for you to buy toner and to buy ink. And after a while, people just it's in perfectly working condition, but it's parked somewhere.
parked there.
You can't afford to keep up with it,
Yeah.
Anyway, Miguel, there's something that you wanted to speak about
Shelton,
with reference to your birthday.
Just quickly, Jaquan, if you want to put this on screen. All right, what you're seeing there right now, and I want, because when a man has shown you his character, or any individual has shown you their character, you need to believe them the first time. And what you've seen on screen there right now.
Am I seeing? Is there anything on the screen? As if I'm not seeing it.
It's
that's
on
it.
screen.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay.
What you're seeing right now is a message from Cleophas Jules, aka KKRR, on Saturday. It says, "Good morning, my friend. Happy birthday." Then he proceeds to send to one of my phone numbers a $50 top up. I never responded, but then he responds later when you see 811, 922 over an hour later. He says, "Enjoy your top up." Now, I don't never wanted, never asked or requested
So what is the top of a birthday? His idea of a birthday gift?
birthday gift, right? But then if we should know how all this was, when last week I was on the show and I spoke about his statements saying that St. Lucians have killed the foreign gentleman. He took offense to it and he went on his platform, lambasting with all his criminal nonsense, and he went on the Yardi's show. And like I said, under the shroud of comedy. I want nothing from him, and I know the type of character he is. Down the line to go see, I ask him for top up and that kind of thing. So just to make it clear, Shelton, just to make it clear before he even thinks of doing that, I want nothing from him. I want his friendship. No.
So what was this meant to imply? That you're unable to afford your own top up, that you can't top up your phone?
He's probably going to imply it later on.
Is there a way that you can send this back to him, that you can reverse it?
No, I thought about it. I looked for ways. There's no way I can send it back.
Okay. They jolly well is. I don't really know what's going on in the country. Where people, we can say ordinary people who probably know the life that we have known as we have known it for the most part, decide to tear into each other and to try to disparage and denigrate and insult and, devalue other people for the sake of people who really don't know if we exist, really don't know what we eat, what we drink, what we came from, and so on. And it's in our history. We always are prepared to damage and destroy and to denigrate, other people who look more like us, who sound more like us, who have a common
live
history.
the everyday struggle.
Exactly. For the sake of people who we believe we can extract some favor from them for doing that, when we have been unable to extract that favor for a very, very long time, almost for the entire course of our coexistence with them. We have been unable to do it. I don't know why we believe now they suddenly will care about us, or if we are simply tools and instruments for some agenda that they want to fulfill. And I'll just leave. I criticize people all the time. I disagree with people all the time. What I do not know that I am ever inclined to doing is to hit at the very basis of another individual's existence and their being and who they are and whether they're black and whether they're poor and whether they, our notion of whether they're nice and ugly, whether their hair is hard or soft or this sort of thing. This kind of crass, this kind of crude, this kind of absolutely unrefined, infradig, assaults on people and so on, is one of the most disgraceful things. And I think you've heard me speak on this program, Miguel, about what I say is called internalized racism. Where black people usually, who find themselves at the bottom of the pile of consideration by almost every other race. Whether it's Chinese, there's Chinese, Oriental people, they don't have their racism. It's always against black people. Arabs and Middle Eastern people of a lighter color,
Indians,
black people to them are always at the bottom. Even in India, you have the system, the caste system. And based upon the climatic zone of India, some people are lighter skinned than others, and the darker skinned ones who come towards the south of India, going into Sri Lanka, the way they are treated and so on. Black people everywhere, even in supposedly liberated America, we see it flaring up all the time. And when I find black people who seem to have this hatred, this disdain of other black people, who are always trying something to show that other black people like themselves are dirt, the internalized racism, and that only white people have what it takes to make something of a country, to make the success of a society and so on, it really, really, really is painful. It means whatever they have done to our minds, they've really worked a number on us.
And even in the U.S., Shelton, if you look at a lot the black movies, you hear references to light-colored guy, the light-colored guy, whatever. They look at him and he's more of the more attractive to the women and that kind of thing. Even here, here in St. Lucia, sorry to say, it tells for the men's quote-unquote affinity for Shabins and women's quote affinity for men with Douglas hair and a little cooler hair, quote-unquote, as Peter Josie put it, as we put it. So I think it's something that is pervasive throughout the world where black people, well, in the U.S. where the black people are the minority, but there's still a vast enough population. And even down here, and this is remnants of
that is why it was so hurtful. It's not about politics. For Timothy Mangal, that is why I felt for that thing. Timothy Mangal, a St. Lucian who is at least partially, perhaps mainly, of Indian descent. We know the story about the indentured laborers and so on. But this man was in a political party, served with, took the platform together with Philip J. Pierre. You understand? And today, okay, you've exercised your right to decide what your allegiance is, how they change. And for you to be making this kind of comparison about everywhere on this side, everything is painted white and everything is nice and beautiful. And on this side, everything is ugly and black like Philip J. Pierre.
Disgusting.
How can you do that?
Disgusting.
You know, in the sum of racist denigration and looking down upon people and so on, Indians, especially those of the darker hue, like Timothy Mangal, they don't count for much. There's not much difference. They go to the racist societies in apartheid South Africa, and you believe they had any much more consideration for them than they did the native black kinky head African. They didn't. As far as they're concerned, you dark-skinned inferior people worthy only of being slaves, and you can't come to this same restaurant to eat. But today, in a St. Lucia, which is the result of us having carefully cultivated a society that does not go down this apartheid racist thing, we have pushed against it, fought against it. For a dark-skinned Indo-St. Lucian, who I'm sure somewhere he has African in him, mix up and so on. For the guy,
not Indian,
for Mangal to be coming to say that and saying it about who? About a man you once walked shoulder to shoulder, with and so on. So I do not know.
But it actually brings a new light, a new meaning, a dimension to the term "you're never a king in your own country."
Yeah,
because he definitely would not be one in his, but he can come down here where we don't see our own people as kings. I can't consider him one of our own people now. If you're going to denigrate the prime minister and say this is as black as Philip J. Pierre, where we are, but we look to them with the Douglas hair, the this and the little, spend a little time in AC and they have a little complexion like yours. Not as dark as me, and they're considered someone more important than any other person.
Yeah, and the complexion, I'm happy to say that as yours, is so relative.
Yeah.
In my younger days, I was much darker.
I was much fairer.
Because I was a guy who was always in the sun, playing sports, running about, going to the beach, play enough for small goals and cricket with coconut, with bats cocoa and wind ball. You take out the skin on it so it can race on the sun. The Charlie, we used to call it. Do all these kinds of things. I found my hair was much harder. My skin was much darker. But as I grew up and I got more into the office life and the AC and being sheltered and driving in a vehicle, one day I looked at a picture. I didn't even see myself. I said, babe, but when did I get fair like that?
Yeah.
People used to start commenting, but to me, your hair was much hard. Fellas who cut my hair, like my cousins, used to tell me, hey, Gaston, your hair really get nicey. I used to wonder, well, what's nice? Your hair and then one day I said, but yes, my hair seems to have changed. It's softer. It has a little curly thing. Ain't nothing to it except that now the hair ain't getting the assault of the sea. It ain't getting the assault of the sun. It ain't getting the assault,
exactly what it was.
Of all the, how we say, modition you used to do as a young man and so on. You live in this kind of life. So I don't know what people making a big deal about complexion and this
Shelton,
and that.
If you saw me pictures of me at college, from time I entered in particular, because that's when I spend most of my outdoor activities, basketball, football, anything, you name it. I was dark, and my hair was red, brown, burnt from the sun. Burns from the sun. So that's what it is. Your geographic location. Let me go spend a few months in England and come back, that kind of thing. But but again, this is another thing. If you really realize what's happening in Shelton, the United Workers' Party started their thing, and they're now they're trying to flip it now and make it look like the Labour Party. It's that's all about the racism
The
disparaging
Labour Party's
Alan
racism
Shasta
and so on.
because he's white. We need to be guided about that as well, because there are people who might think who should have known better. I'm not talking about any hardcore supporters of the United Workers' Party, but the same people had a discussion this morning about those, Cornelia would know, those who are seemingly on the fence. And they come with these same kind of stupid arguments about, your party racist because you don't think that because he's a white man he can do this. And I try to avoid this conversation.
But we've heard such as ring the bell.
Yes.
Come and say that whatever is a non-blind flip, and we've heard a lot of this kind of thing.
Yes.
And they have not been repudiated. They have not been rebuked. They have not been disavowed by the United Workers' Party to say, look, Alan Shasta is not in the politics because of his color or whatever. They don't do that. They just stay stony. Like this whole thing with Timothy Mangal. Have you ever heard Guy Joseph come and say, to try to distance himself or say...
And you have a half-Indian sister who was blacker than Mangal, darker than me.
I mean,
at least one
on.
of his siblings.
I mean, this is just so disgusting and so on. I don't believe, Guy. But anyway,
this is a new WP Shelton. We have to be cognizant of that.
Yes.
Their tactics will be outside of what of the realm of regular politicking. It will be outside of that because they'll get as nasty as you can get, and they've already been known for their propaganda. So I don't think you should believe anything that comes out of their mouths.
Okay.
Anything.
Good afternoon, Mr. Shelton. I see you are looking good. Thank God. Can you tell Miguel a happy birthday for me, please? I met him at the beach last year. The lady that asked him to stand to see how short he is because of the name you gave him.
I get that all the time, my dear ladies do that all the time. Let me see how short you are.
All right.
Thank you very much.
Her name is Magilta. I won't tell you the
Magilta.
second.
Good. I know. Good afternoon.
And
to
I see her WhatsApp profile picture is of three ladies. I don't know which one she is.
Good afternoon to you.
But they're all three very lovely ladies. And if it is by the beach that you met her, do not go by the beach anymore because you might meet her again.
Oh yeah, why not?
And I may have to come and rescue you. Because, wifey might decide to make you sleep in the doghouse or something.
I love dogs. That doesn't matter. But Shel, I think there was something else that you wanted to speak about within all our discussions. We covered the Joakim.
Yeah. Well, it's a suggestion I just wanted to make, and it's just a suggestion. That in the case, for example, of VF4 South and Castries Southeast, what I would suggest to them, to those who are the contenders, the hopefuls, that now that a selection has been made, have among themselves what I would not, it's not a retreat, it's not a big thing that you're having, but have a little, let's close ranks, let's get together kind of little gathering among themselves. They can have one or two other people. It's not an official Labour Party thing that involves chaired by the General Secretary. You can bring in whoever it is, who you think is a person who has sufficient good offices, rapporteur kind of person. Whether it's the chairman, Musa, who I think is excellent at this kind of thing. So Danny Butcher, together with Tresha Lionel, Kentry Frederick, Augustus Cuddy, have a little, and it doesn't have to be in the constituency. Sometimes it may be better. Do it outside because once you're at a little place, whether it people will see you and then they want to drop in and then it becomes a thing about one person wants to shout. There's the four of you as four big people, whether it is by Debbie's place at Safi, whatever. You all meet, eat a little good food and so on and talk to each other and
I basically I have confidence in that.
Somebody like Danny, for example, would take the lead in it. Look, fellas, this is behind us. We Labourites, let's come together. Now, when you all close ranks now you can go to the wider support base and bring them to a little close ranks kind of, whether it's a block or whether it's a little thing you all have at the Philip Masnek grounds, a small goals thing, and you all play or by the beaches right there and have a little niceness of a coming together.
I think, Shelton, knowing the characters involved.
Yes. Don't do it too early. In other words, don't do it too fast after the selection. Allow emotions to think, but don't take too much time to do it.
And are there any emotions though?
Well, I don't know. You never know. So that people make all kind of little statements there. So you must never take anything for granted. So basically, don't do it too soon after. Don't do it too long before indifference and passivity set in. So you allow whatever amount of time. There are people who better at this sort of thing. and y'all come together, sit down.
Well, I think Shelton,
yeah.
knowing the characters involved and knowing personally two of them, one was my cousin, of course, Augustus Kade, and Treasure, who was my friend and colleague
Yes.
for the longest
Media
while.
person. Nice.
I think V4 South is one of those constituencies at this point with the selection made. You're not going to get the nonsense that you're hearing in Castries Southeast. I do not think so. And I believe Dr. Kenny Anthony did at some point make a statement, a public statement to the extent of, we'll be working with whoever's going on, whoever give the support to whichever candidate is selected or whatever. I don't think Dr. Anthony is going to bow out completely, particularly as we move on to the election. I think that his influence is still needed. It's very much required. I think above anything, he may be the key, the central point to reconciling not the former prospective candidates at place in actuality, but more of the base, the party space. I think he is a central figure to unifying the people who may be disgruntled on the ground.
Right.
I'm not fearing for VFR. So.
Yeah. But basically, I was just using them.
But I understand.
As a template.
There should be.
In other words, Danny Butcher is just setting the stage so that the people who are with Kade and who are with Kentry and who are with Treasure, that he basically gives them the little impetus that they will encourage these people to close ranks behind him,
Yeah.
And so you set about a little camaraderie among who were formerly rivals, that we're not rivals anymore. The issue is settled, guys, let's move forward. We clink, we knock a bottle of beer together and so on, raise a little glass and so on, eat a little food and so on, and like I say, play a little game, whether it's a little board game, totally relaxing. Now, you can bring in Dr. Anthony, I mentioned a few names, Musa Dr. Anthony, the Southern thing, basically, like I said, to be rapporteurs and good offices people. And then you move to the wider base and so on, so that going forward, you don't have these little pockets, of hostility and so on, that we're moving forward. There'll always be disagreement, of course, but you don't have these little pockets of, I don't like the way they treat, so and so. I like the way they treat Treasure. Like somebody has messaged me saying they already knew it's Danny they wanted since the time, and this kind of thing. What you want to do? So when people come and they see Danny together with Augustus, Kentry, Treasure, they do a little walkabout. It don't have to be in one go, but a series of walkabouts. That together you see the four of them in Shantytown, Bruceville. The next time you see them in the Mang. Next time you see them. I'm telling you, by the time of the walkabout, that four of them will grow to 400. You understand?
Agreed.
People who want to be with them and talk with them and so on. And who recognize there's no vexness, there's no cut eye, there's no looking at one another, gosier, and and then the people realize, hey, we won one party. We won group. Yeah, go ahead.
Before we go into the break, but also we have to be, a lot of what you are seeing now, that is disgruntlement that's being played out in the public, it is actually indicative of a political and immaturity of the understanding of a political process. Because let's look at the US, for example, which it almost seems cliche with going to them, but even in the UK, within the parties, the various parties, you have primaries to an extent for the presidential candidate. You have primaries where people who go against each other for the leadership of the party, as with not with Alan Chastney. Let's find a better example. With other parties where you have your conventions and these kind of things, and at the end of the day, there is still a reconciliation. All those who were lambasting Trump during the primaries all close ranks behind him, whether we like it or not. They close ranks behind him up leading to the election, and he won.
Yes.
At the end of the day, it is a process. The process will always be competitive. There is always, you and I may work with the same institution, organization. There's a job there for news editor, for example, and we are both senior reporters. We both compete.
It will always be that, but I think you and I previously agreed that what Joakim has done there has done a lot, and maybe in fact the deciding thing in ensuring that tensions are quelled. You understand?
It should have done a lot, Shelton. Let me say that, because
it doesn't mean every single person will buy into it. But what I'm saying, I believe he has taken a step that will serve a good purpose.
Agreed.
In terms.
Now, if I were to say that, the immaturity I've seen displayed up until Sunday, it does not, as much as I believe that he is genuine and he's making that appeal, and even hearing that voice note, Shelton, it still comes down to a certain level of political maturity. I do not see that easily being quelled between the people who have decided to be out on social media. And let me
Maybe
just
for
say,
now,
my brother,
at the moment that you and I, if we have a little blowout, at the moment and in the few moments afterwards, there is the tension, there is the anger, there is the I hate nothing. As time goes on, especially if one of us decides to be the adult, you understand, and takes this matter without screaming back and shouting back, you know, and it makes us, don't forget about that, guys. We big men. Now, you might, don't touch me, you know, in the beginning. But as time goes on and you stay the course of being a conciliatory person, it tapers off. Right now, emotions are turbulent. Emotions are volatile. So you may not get it. That's why I'm saying, begin the process as Joakim has done, you understand, for the healing and so on. And over time, let us assume, for argument's sake, that we have a year to go before election. Let's just assume, okay, that we have another year to go before election. That should be more than enough time, you understand, so that these turbulent, volatile emotions, that they taper off, that they go, and if the cards are played well, especially during among the former contenders, that people will heal, you know.
But I was a bit disappointed though, and I like to say good afternoon to my friend Albert Frages. I was disappointed in his post though, and I will say, because you may have had an issue with the process, but then you are only creating further division on that topic when you come and say, well, you felt that way too, and this has happened to you too, and that process. I am in total disagreement with that. I saw the post, I passed it straight because I was in total disagreement. I think that you are particularly contributing to this discontent, and furthermore, like you said, we need to rally. Although, Shelton, let me just add, there were discussions again regarding the process moving forward, what certain people felt like the process should be. Again, with Grosley, let's go back to Grosley, where there were candidates and they met with the public or particular members of the party and asked what they think, and the candidates were present. Maybe that is something that should be considered and amend whatever part of the party's constitution as it relates to the selection of candidates. Maybe it could amend to something that could be agreeable to all, where nobody can say that they were disadvantaged throughout a particular process. Maybe it is time, you know, for that evolution in the party's processes. But at the end of the day, there's a process at hand. And I have every confidence in Philip J. Pierre as the party's leader, and Musa as the chairman of the party, and of course Mr. Leo Clark as the general secretary, who ultimately would be overseeing and have some oversight over that process to make the right decision, and not just one where you see the Alan Chasney situation where it's he guy or a certain few are selecting who becomes the next candidate.
Okay. All right. Real Issues powered by Blue Waters. We take our final commercial break. Don't forget, we're going until 2 o'clock or whenever the live lotto ad cuts in. But until such time, we'll be back.
The voice. Your hero is back. Raw facts, no fluff. Shelton Daniel is here to deal with the issues. Real Issues, 12:30 p.m. to 2 p.m. Monday to Friday on Real FM.
It is well known that diseases like diabetes, high blood pressure, and other illnesses may restrict blood flow, which can lead to impotence and erectile dysfunction. This is why Enhance was formulated to meet these challenging health problems, which can reduce your ability to perform. If you're having problems maintaining your manhood, then reclaim your manhood today with Enhance. Enhance increases your energy level, boosts your stamina, and increases your endurance.
You can get your Enhance at Southwell VA4, Restorer Pharmacy Soufre, Knights Med Miku, Lay by Bar The Morn, Dexter's Place Jeremy Street Castries, Citygate Bar The City opposite the market, Plants Place Denry Highway, Arlette Supermarket Soufre, The Release Stress Bar Labrie Highway, Cool Joint Bar Victoria Schwazel, Prios Bus Stop 22, next to the Moshi Bus Stop, opposite the Grosile Bus Stop. Prios Bar and Grill in Corinth, Grosile.
Enhance, the best a man can get.
McDowell Supplements, an effective way to ensure you and your loved ones are getting the daily recommended intake of essential vitamins, minerals, and other important nutrients necessary for optimal health. Naturally, we carry an array of health and wellness supplements. McDowell's Immune Booster enhances your body's defense to fight colds and flu, boosts your immune system, prevents viruses and other airborne diseases. McDowell's Colon Cleanser prevents constipation, helps in removing toxins from the colon, detoxifies the body, and regulates your bowel movements. McDowell's Prostate Health prevent the enlargement of the prostate, improve urinary flow, and reduce frequent urination, especially at night. Moringa oleifera capsules are rich in minerals like calcium, potassium, zinc, magnesium, iron, and copper, vitamins like beta-carotene of vitamin A, vitamin B such as folic acid, vitamin C, D, and E. McDowell's Potassium Complex, used for treating and preventing low potassium levels, high blood pressure, preventing stroke, and aid in weight loss. McDowell's Triple Magnesium relaxes the muscles, relieves cramps and helps to control high blood pressure, improves sleep, and can calm the nerves. Magnesium is very important for the normal functioning of cells, nerves, muscles, bones, and the heart. McDowell's Ginger Turmeric helps to relieve pain, decrease nausea and enhance the immune function to help protect against illness and infection. Ginger turmeric has powerful anti-inflammatory properties and improves your circulation. Don't hold health back. Let health strike back. McDowell's, the better way to start your health. Visit Health Service Center, John Compton Highway, call 453-6417. Let your wellness be our stress.
The voice. Your hero is back. Raw facts, no fluff. Shelton Daniel is here to deal with the issues. Real issues. 12:30 p.m. to 2 p.m. Monday to Friday on Real FM.
Thank you so much, everyone, for staying with The Real Issues, powered by Blue Waters on this Monday, the start of another week. Our program, as you know, airs weekdays from 12:30 until 2 p.m. on Real FM radio station, NBC television, Facebook, and YouTube live streaming. Somebody from VF4 South sends me a message. Y'all, VF4 South has no problems, no vexness, and I'm prepared to agree that it doesn't in a broad way. Among the contenders, the hopefuls, now one has been chosen. But there's something we must notice in our politics. People, the ordinary supporters, sometimes take things a lot more serious than the politicians themselves. So you might find Kenny Anthony and Alan Chasney, for all their disagreement over just about everything having to do with public affairs and governance. I think there was a Christmas where they had a little get together among themselves and so on, and they shared drinks or whatever it was. Yeah. But you see, supporters sometimes don't realize that the politicians are able to maintain an at least civil, interaction and encounters with each other and so on.
I don't think anyone likes Alan Chasney and Guy. Just to get clear, I don't think anybody really likes.
But regardless of this, people tend to take this thing so much more seriously that they'll be vexed with each other. They're not talking to each other. Before anything, they're ready to fight. They're ready to hurl the dirtiest of words at each other for the sake of the politicians. That's why I'm saying those who are in the privilege, come leadership positions and so on, like the hopefuls and so on, they have to make sure that they do whatever that they can or that is needed to be done. If it doesn't need to be done, that's okay. To massage whatever residual ill feelings that are there among those who would have wished to see them, and to make sure it does not go. After any process like this, primary, runoff, whatever you call it, takes place, it is very important that there be a healing which results in a closing of ranks. You understand?
Agreed.
Now, generally, people will tell you, not me. They moved Joakim, I'm not voting. And over time,
What's your other option, really?
But over time it tapers off.
It tapers off,
naturally. They go, they see a town hall Tuesday, and they see a rally and a motorcade, and they jump on it, and the spirit kicks back in them again. It reignites in them. It was never really gone. It's just a little, like I said, the little moment, of the emotion and so on. All I'm saying, don't take anything for granted, In a tight election, on a day, a few holdouts, 5 votes, 10 votes, 15 votes can make all the difference. Do everything, and to borrow that phrase from the Bible, it says, make your calling and election sure. I'd say, live out the calling. Make your election sure. Cross all your T's, dot all your I's, pull out all the stops. Do everything to make sure that you are not undone because of some residual bitterness that people carry,
which is
unnecessary.
Unnecessary.
And it's something that can easily be dealt with. A little hand around the shoulder, blah, 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 blah. That's what, don't worry, man. Joakim and I are best buddies, and you still holding that against you, man. Don't worry, we're good together. We'll take care of each other. This kind of thing. Sometimes even the humility of a candidate tells somebody who you might consider to be insignificant, guys, I don't want you to be vexed with me, because I know I can't win that election without you, there's the sense of value and importance that you give to the person. It's enough to soften their heart. Politicians are people who, above all, need to be skillful in human relations and so on, in how to deal with people. In the same way that they need to know how to deal with influencers and financiers and people with deep pockets who will give them financing and so on, while at the same time not letting their expectations be wild and unmanaged and so on, that when you come, every contract will be yours. Because tomorrow you may end up having more problems on your hand. That's all I'm saying. But I believe the politicians, they would have known that already.
But Dr. Carlton Augustine says, he asked the question, are you guys aware that constituency-wide polls were conducted by the party? And he's not speaking to us, but particularly to those who may have an issue with what has taken.
The decisions were not taken because Philip JP liked this one and they don't like this one. There were all sorts of criteria that were weighed. There were all sorts of measurements and surveys and so on that were done to say, okay, who looks like, from what we know, the more winnable prospect, the person who's more viable going into this. It's not a vai, kind of thing that was done. That didn't happen.
And maybe why allowing, you already mentioned this one, but real, why would the United Workers' Party, person who considers themselves a diehard supporter of the current UWP particularly, wants to advise you on who will be the best candidate for your party?
It's called infiltration.
Exactly.
It's called infiltration and subversion. If Labour Party people, UWP was in office and you want to, you would go inside there, and if possible, you could tell, but Mangal, why you have to be following Guy Joseph? Man, you were our candidate once and you almost defeated Guy Joseph. You should be the UWP's candidate. Now what do you think you're doing? Like Mangal, or you trying to drive a wedge where you can and so on? So, UWP, their playbook is not different from what a Labour Party playbook might and may still be for all we know, you understand? So, infiltration, subversion, driving wedges, creating division, causing confusion among the opponents, in the opponent's camp and so on. It's nothing that is unheard of. You understand what I'm saying? Magilda said that the 3 ladies we see are her daughters.
Well, her daughters?
Yeah, so it's not her in any of them. It's her 3 daughters that she has it there, and you can see the last thing. That's my daughters.
Is she from the Monrepo area?
Let's not identify.
I know. I'm just asking if she is.
So what happened? You're gonna come and
I saw the surname Shelton. Come on, Nuse Jabopo.
You're gonna come and scout Monrepo by executive order, according to Trump.
I've always been,
your Monrepo visa and citizenship are hereby revoked. All right. Someone else called Muriel says, Shelton, please wish Miguel a happy birthday.
Thank you very much.
My birthday was the 2nd of July, so another July person.
And my daughter was
this one, I think I can see her name. She's Muriel Lina Finiste. They also call her Lima. And so she's a regular listener to this program. Someone else sent a message. I don't know if he wants his name mentioned. He said, yes, but is it too early to expect him to offer public support to Lisa? That is for Joakim to come out and publicly. I believe things are done in stages, and sometimes if somebody offers you one hand, at least it's a start.
It's a start.
The other hand may be coming. What Joakim, I believe, calculated then, I'm sure he must have felt disappointment. In fact, he said so, I think, in the written release, is that the priority now was to quell this kind of divisive push back that people who say if it's not him, they don't have anything to do with it and this kind of thing, and they had planned the protest. I suspect that was diffused.
I still think that's a small minority.
Yeah, right. It was. When you look at their Facebook, social media, the reactions, the likes and so on, and also the comments were very, very threadbare, very, very few. At hardly any time did I see it go into double digits and so on. So they couldn't have had much of a following with them. But regardless of it, like I say, don't treat them like they're not important.
Yeah, no, I agree.
A tight and close election, 5 votes can make all the difference. Let me see that. Someone said, hello, Mr. Daniel. If we think we have heard the worst from the UWP, well, the worst is yet to come. Reason is because of the things Trump does and says to the people, and he still wins the election. Trust me, the UWP believe that they can do the same and win. It's possible. Again, that depends on the people's mood that is dependent on a lot of other things.
Yeah.
Economy not doing well. In the case of Americans, they would have believed anything from Trump. Economy not doing well at the time, joblessness, a whole lot of things, and plus Biden, which him completely out of it, is a deck you're going to vote for and this kind of thing. I saw that coming a long time. I think we should open the phone lines now.
We should.
Yes.
We should.
So the mobile number on which you can WhatsApp call us is 758, the area code, of course, 487-9849, 487-9849, and you can also reach us on the local landline, 4533-911. That finger raise, Jaquan, you're not an umpire, it's not out, you're putting me out, so is there we have a call on the line? Hi, good afternoon, Real Issues, you're on the air.
Yeah, hello, good afternoon.
Hey, how are you doing, brother?
Very interesting discussion you'll have there.
Yes, thank you very much.
It's a thought-provoking discussion. Yeah. And I like your co-host and his postures. I sit down there imagining if his head was as clean as yours, what would have happened between the two of y'all this afternoon. Well, let me tell you something.
I suspect is the sweater.
Just give me a chance. Let me tell you something. The last point Shelton made about the outlook and the postures of the ordinary voters. That is one of the most fundamental issues related to this question of the candidates changing the candidate. I personally had experience on that. But when it really happened, I actually jumped in and I lost the runoff, but I went and managed the campaign for the comrade who was involved. All right? Now, the issue here is that I believe that the overall general voters sometimes are too cling to personality rather than talking of the party, the progress of the party, the ethos of the party. And I believe on that issue, there needs to be, and I believe I've said it before, there needs to be more political education among the masses, in civil society, in civics, in the schools, to really school people regarding to political parties, their orientation, their policies and ethos. Now, all the issues that you all have raised there are very important. When you talk of the posture of the guy called the KKR, that thing is absurd, some of the things I'm seeing. The Mangal partner, I believe there's a fellow from America, I believe he's an American, a black writer. I believe he was Baldwin, who wrote a book called Blackface White Mask. And to me, that is relevant as far as the St. Lucian context, the postures of the UWP and the candidates they have as far as that issue are concerned. Now, in relation to Kenny Anthony, I believe not enough kudos have been given to Kenny Anthony with respect to his vision. To me, Kenny Anthony stood and stands as a giant as far as the political ethos and debate and progress in St. Lucia is concerned. Okay? His policy and issue when he was at the party was for the runoff. But I believe that was many era ahead of the normal St. Lucians, as you are talking about people and their personalities and things. So what is important here is that Joakim Henry, brother Joakim Henry, the others in Viewfort should really rally. I believe the partner said it and said going off beach and play cricket is more than that. You have to join in the campaign, design the campaign for the persons who are going to go forward in the campaign to really see us forward. Thank you very much,
Thank you very much,
for tolerating me.
All right,
I appreciate that contribution. That was a really good contribution.
Thank you very much. Thanks. We have another call on the line. Hi, Real Issues, you're on the air. Go ahead.
Yeah, good day, gentlemen.
Good afternoon.
And happy birthday to Brother Miguel, Comrade Miguel. I see you red and ready.
Hey, thank you, my brother. Always, always.
All right, man. You look sharp, man. Yeah.
Thank you.
All right. I just want to give my contribution on Brother Danny. I know him personally. We attend the same church. And he's that type of person, very charismatic and stuff. And I believe what Shelton said, I can see that in Danny. The qualities, and we'll bring everybody together and say, hey, folks, we need to do that for Viewport. We cannot bring that little segregation and separation, sentiment. People get emotional and sentiment running forth and stuff like that. So I believe they made the right choice in choosing Danny. And like they said, we need to trust the process. And even with Sister Lisa, yeah, I know a lot of people were disappointed, but at the end of the day, it's for the sake of the party, because what they realize, the selfish motive, they actually hurting the party, and you're giving the opposition more points on you. So it's a time for healing, for everybody to come together. Yeah. On the lighter note, the wrong guy was at my church on last Saturday. I won't tell you what church I attend. With his big yellow shirt. And he will say he's not campaigning. Okay, folks. Have a good day.
All right, thank you very much.
All right, thank you very much, God. So now I have now dubbed Sundays, the Sunday night rum table talk now, the wrong and the useless. So that's in use of opera, the wrong and the useless.
We have another call on the line. Real issues here on the air. Go ahead.
Hey, Shelton.
What's happening?
Big.
Good afternoon, my brother.
I don't know where's the closest we could after work. Where I could come and get my what you sharing?
It's after work already. I'm sharing love.
I know. I want food.
Cupcakes and whiskey.
Cupcakes and whiskey.
Oh, my boy's up yet. Sheldon.
Yeah.
And Miguel, I too have had my fair share of change of candidates. I remember I was the driver behind the Robert Lewis getting in 2006. But you see, I'm one of those that I have admitted openly that I never went to school for politics, but I understand politics. I took it on my own, Shelton, after Robert was elected to be the candidate, to reach out. Because we were friends. We all are friends. But we were supporting different people. And remember, John Odlum was there all the time, and he had a lot of people attached to him. I took it on my own to reach out to these people, because I was the advocate behind the Robert Lewis election. But when he was selected, I went and do the healing process. I brought Robert to people. I brought him to these people to start the healing process. And then we have, and these things have to do with time. Time heals. You cannot do that today for tomorrow. There are people that carry these things longer than the next. So it depends now as to at what point the Prime Minister will call the election. Because it takes time. Because you find personal attachment. Then comes 2016, when Robert was bowing out, he elected him. I saw people cry tears, Sheldon. Crying. Women, because of their attachment to Robert Lewis. And most of the time, and one of the things I said at that particular meeting, I said, while you may lose Robert now, and you believe that your attachment to Robert will cause you, will have you now losing whatever you believe in your mind or your friendship, and you could have gone to his office. It is just another opportunity to open doors to somebody else. And I remember saying that. I said, you are getting into something new, and you are getting to know somebody else, and life continues, and it's a cycle. So you will continue getting different people all the time. And then, you know what I did, Shelton? Again, I was the architect. I threw a party at my home. And I invited all of them. to come meet, greet, and everything. That's what I did. But again, it's the time. You need people the time. They are human. And it's upon Lisa now. It's upon Lisa to go out.
Lisa and
to
Joakim.
reach out to these people.
And Joakim. And Joakim. I think
yes, no, but Lisa is the one now that have to move because the Joakim people will be reluctant to go to work to her. So she has to make the move to reach out to them and tell them, yes, you are not locked up in. You may have, but you may now have, but you don't have Joakim as a rep, but you'll have me. She has to do the reaching out, and the healing process has to start. Some people have taken.
Yeah,
and get away one time.
Senator Jawahi, in her capacity as the Labour Party's communications director, has issued a statement in the last few minutes, and it's a press release headed "SLP welcomes 2 new candidates for the general elections." Thank you very much, Frank.
All right.
It's dated 14th July 2025, so that's today, and it says we have another caller. Okay, let's take that call. Maybe we'll get a chance to squeeze in that press release. Hi, good afternoon. Real Issues. Hello? Hello? All right. The Central Labour Party has the pleasure to announce that in accordance with its constitutional procedures for selecting candidates to represent the party at general elections, it has approved the following persons to be candidates in the constituencies of Vieux South and Castries South East for the general elections which are constitutionally due in July 2026. Mr. Danny Butcher for Vieux South. Mr. Butcher is a 39-year-old teacher from Vieux with master's and bachelor's degrees in education. Senator Lisa Jawahi for Castries South East. 36-year-old Senator Jawahi, who is from Castries South East, has served in the Senate from 2020. She holds a master's degree in strategic communication and is a communications business executive. She is also the SLP's communications director. The Central Labour Party takes this opportunity to express its sincere appreciation and its gratitude to the Honorable Dr. Kennedy Anthony and Honorable Joakim Henry for their services to their constituencies, the country, and the SLP. The SLP congratulates and welcomes both persons on their nomination as they join the party's mission to continue to put people first and to march together for more progress for St. Lucia. All right, so good press release. We have another call on the line. Hi, good afternoon. Real Issues.
Good afternoon. Is this me?
No, it's not.
Good afternoon.
Somebody
I
else.
know I don't have much time, so I can't even do what I wanted to do. But anyhow, let me say this. We have no role in Beaufort. And considering the person who was chosen, any hint of dissatisfaction, disarray, whatever, he can fix it. He is that good to do so. If there is any seat that we need to win in this upcoming elections, it is the Castries Southeast seat. We need to ensure that we create a permanent solution to that permanent nuisance. Goodbye.
All right, thank you very much for
I
that.
quite agree. The aim is to rid our parliament or of our government or any people like Guy Joseph and Alan Chastney. They should be sniffing anywhere near the halls of our parliament, much less the government. So I think that should be the primary objective, to ensure that we do not bring these miscreants, these reprobates back into government.
All right. Before we go, Miguel, I think I want to extend condolences to the family of a customs officer.
Oh, yes.
Who I'm told was found lifeless in his vehicle somewhere in the Monrepo area. And it seems this happened shortly after he attended a funeral for someone who died as a result of another tragedy, that a tree fell on him, tree that he was maybe cutting or whatever. And so he decided to take an after-funeral lime or drive with some friends, and they went to some entertainment spot, what we would call a watering hole in Monrepo. And he was feeling a little tired from what we heard, and told his friends, at least that's what's coming out, that he would go take a little nap in his vehicle, and he never woke up.
That was it.
So, this is very sad.
A young man as well.
A very, very young man, and, very, very sad news. So we don't really know too much about his name and identity, although that's been bandied about. It has not been officially released, so condolences to his family. We are told he was from Miko South, from Tiroche, to be exact. So condolences to them, okay? All right, that'll do it for us for the real issues today. Miguel, thank you very much.
Thank you very much for having
once
me.
again.
Thank you.
And thank you very much, Jaquan. Great job. And until tomorrow, same time, God willing, Shelton Daniel for the real issues powered by Blue Waters, signing out.
The man, the voice. Your hero is back. Raw fact.
The winning numbers for the midday draw of Monday, 14th July 2025 were Double Daily Grand 1, 8, 17, 22. Big 4, 0, 6, 0, 7. Big 4 Multi-X, 2X. Pick 2, 7, 3. Pick 2 Multi-X, 2X. 1 off, 5, 0, 4. Lucky 3, 1, 8, 7. Lucky 3 Multi-X, 2X.
The man, the voice. Your hero is back. Raw facts, no fluff. Shelton Daniel is here to deal with the issues. Real issues. 12:30 p.m. to 2 p.m. Monday to Friday on Real FM.